Mike Pence appears to be distancing himself from Donald Trump and his ridiculous claims of widespread voter fraud, which means that Trump is upset and he's throwing temper tantrums behind the scenes as the White House turns.
Made some very big mistakes.
I asked for his resignation.
I'm disappointed in the Attorney General.
So for all the issues that I have with the Republicans who run the Lincoln Project, they do deserve credit in instigating drama and conflict between Donald Trump and people who are closest to him in the White House. In fact, a source who spoke with Trump said that the president was complaining about his vice president, Mike Pence, and brought up a Lincoln Project ad that claims that Pence is backing away from Trump. This ad has clearly got inside Trump's head, the source told Axios. And so I hadn't seen this particular ad. And then I watched it and realized exactly why Trump is throwing a temper tantrum behind the scenes. Let's take a quick look.
The end is coming, Donald. Even Mike Pence knows. He's backing away from your train wreck, from your desperate lies and clown lawyers. When Mike Pence is running away from you, you know it's over. Trying to save his reputation, protect his future. Oh, there's one last thing, Donald. On January 6th, Mike Pence will put the nail in your political coffin when he presides over the Senate vote to prove Joe Biden won. It's over, and Mike Pence knows it.
Look, I don't like how this kind of launders the reputation of Mike Pence a little bit, because Mike Pence certainly has been one of Trump's enablers and he doesn't deserve credit. He's also a coward who's planning on immediately leaving the country after he certifies the electoral votes on January 6th. So he doesn't deserve any credit. I do love the tone of that ad though. It's like, Donnie, everyone's turning on you, even your own VP. Like they're so good at making these ads. And I hate to admit it, but it's true. So yeah, of course people are gonna turn on Trump. Like what do you think they're gonna do? You think that Mike Pence is gonna go along with this ridiculous election fraud thing? Like he's been MIA, by the way. Like I haven't seen Mike Pence do anything publicly in a while. And he has this ridiculous like foreign trip planned immediately after he certifies the votes on January 6th because he's so afraid of Donald Trump. But yeah, Cenk, thoughts on all this?
Okay, it's actually way worse than this. The Axios story is unreal. So I'm gonna give you a bunch of direct quotes. So first of all, they explain on the Pence situation, Trump would view Pence performing his constitutional duty and validating the election result as, quote, the ultimate betrayal. Now, the Republican Party that for my entire life pretended that they cared the most about the Constitution are saying if you follow the Constitution, it will be an ultimate betrayal of their leader. That's amazing. It's amazing, and it has to be noted. Okay, now it gets worse. I'm quoting Axios again. Trump thinks everyone around him is weak, stupid, or disloyal, and increasingly seeks comfort only in people who egg him on to overturn the election results. We cannot stress enough how unnerved Trump officials are by the conversations unfolding inside the White House. The president has absolutely lost his mind. I mean, he didn't have much of one to begin with, and he's always been a conspiracy theorist. He's always been nuts. He's always been a narcissist. But this is beyond the pale, even for his biggest sycophants. He's now turned on, according to Axios, Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, Vice President Pence, White House Counsel Pat Cipollone, Secretary of State Pompeo, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. He sent a graph to Republicans in Congress pretending that Mitch McConnell won his election based on Donald Trump's robocall. He's like, this is when the robocall happened, and that's why McConnell won. McConnell was kicking ass the whole time, unfortunately. He was gonna crush McGrath no matter what.
No, Trump made McConnell, okay? He made McConnell. That's what Trump did. He made McConnell. McConnell was nobody. No one even knew about Mitch McConnell until Trump came along.
Look, this guy has been unstable from day one. We have the very stable genius shirts at shoptyt.com because he says insane things like, I'm known for being a very stable genius. Look, historians will look back and go, how did you guys not see it? Who goes around saying I'm known for two things, being like a smart person and being mentally stable? The guy was obviously unbalanced from day one. All right, more from the Axios story. Trump is lashing out and everyone is in the blast zone. At this point, if you're not in the quote, use the Department of Homeland Security or the military to impound voting machines camp, the president considers you weak and beneath contempt. So he's considering firing everyone in the building. One of the guys he's most mad at and is first up on the chopping block is Cipollone, who's the White House counsel, who helped him so much through impeachment and through everything else. He did everything Trump asked him to do. But now that he won't, he's like, all right, seize the voting machines. And Cipollone's like, we have absolutely no constitutional authority to seize voting machines that are run by the states. It's not in any law, it's not in the Constitution. We just don't have the authority. He's like, yo, you're weak, you're weak. Why don't you just break the law, you loser, right? And Cipollone's like, I don't know how to break the law. I don't know what you're asking me to do. And he's saying, no, he's thinking of firing him and replacing him with a loyalist.
I think one of the best ways to understand Donald Trump's reasoning, and maybe I'm giving him too much credit because I just used the word reasoning, but we keep hearing about, or at least kept hearing about, Donald Trump being a businessman translates into good governance, right? He knows what it's like to run businesses, so he'll know how to run the government. Except in the business community, there's always a loophole. There are regulations, there are laws, and then there are always ways to skirt those laws. And Donald Trump has had a lifetime of finding loopholes, skirting laws, breaking laws, and getting away with it. And so, yeah, it makes a lot of sense that in government, when he doesn't get exactly what he wants, he's like, okay, well, what's the loophole? Like, what can we do to break the law and get our way? Because he's used to that. He's had a full lifetime of that. And when he gets pushback from people who have enabled him for his entire time in the White House, he's shocked by it and enraged by it. And he takes it personally instead of understanding that we don't live in a dictatorship, that we don't live in a country where someone can just like take a position of power and do whatever they want to do. There are actual constitutional rights that people have, constitutional protections, a whole democratic process. And he's like, okay, but yeah, got it. What's the loophole? And there isn't one, and he just doesn't understand it.
Well, and there's a couple other things too. So when he ran his business, he would just tell people what to do and they would do it. But that's not how a democracy works. There's 3 co-equal branches of government. And so that's why he was genuinely shocked when the Supreme Court turned him down. He's like, but I hired 3 of them. He's so mentally slow. He doesn't get that, no, it's not like a small business. You didn't hire them. They don't work for you. They work for the people of the United States of America. The Attorney General doesn't work for you. He works for the people. He's not your lawyer. And Anna, you remember the story where one of his top executives in the Trump organization had come out, it was about a year or 2 ago, and said about how he does business. And she's like, he would just tell you to do something illegal. Like for example, he's like, I don't want any Braille in Trump Tower elevators. And they're like, but Mr. Trump, that's illegal. We have to put the Braille in. We don't have a choice. He's like, no, don't put the Braille in. You're responsible. In other words, I want you to break the law, not me. And so if you don't do it, you're in trouble with me. And if you do it and you get caught, you go to jail. I don't. So that's who Donald Trump is. And he's such a mental little person that he just never understood that you can't order the Attorney General, the top military general, and the White House counsel to do things that are illegal. They're not allowed to. Look, they've already stretched the law to the absolute limit. Saying you're gonna hire a loyalist to replace Cipollone. Cipollone is a loyalist. All of them are loyalists. But he's saying, no, if you won't do a coup, you're not loyal enough. And look, last two quotes from Axios, because every one of these are amazing. So he, the person who's now coming in to replace Bill Barr is Jeffrey Rosen. And Axios says, quote, and they talk to insiders in the White House. Quote, the consensus is he has no earthly idea the insanity he's in for, okay? And they're advising him to stay away from the president. Just try to run for a month and see if you can get away with it. Trump has even, then one last quote from Axios. Trump has even been asking advisors whether they can get state legislatures to rescind their electoral votes. That's already gone, man. That happened weeks ago. But he's still asking about it. And he says, when he's told no, he lashes out even more, said a source who discussed the matter with the president. Okay, the man has no mind left. And finally, my favorite part of the story. Everybody's like, where's the real president? We need somebody to be able to go talk to Trump. In case you don't know, do you know who the real president is? It's Jared Kushner. He's been running the country as Trump has been tweeting and watching Fox and Friends. So everybody's looking for Jared. They're like, Jared, you gotta come in and tell him not to do a coup. We're gonna get locked up. This is insanity. Where's Jared? Jared went to Israel. And his people say that he is, quote, focused on the Middle East. He just ran away. He just literally ran out of the country because he knows his father-in-law is insane. If he doesn't do the illegal, like wildly, insanely illegal things he wants him to do, that he's gonna throw even Jared Kushner under a bus. And he knows he can't do the things that Trump wants, so he just ran away. So nobody's doing anything about coronavirus. Nobody's doing anything about anything other than Trump trying to figure out how to do this coup.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.